So we had Jeremy Hurewitz this past Wednesday, our first speaker with this Masada coaching platform. I thought it was really, really good. Just having a good amount of people here and the conversation topic. Alison and I had the opportunity to talk a little bit earlier, and the fact that it covered a big gamut of everybody's lives. So whether you're a tactician that was more intrigued by the spy world part of it,
sure,
or you're a business owner that's more intrigued by the sales part of it, there was a little bit for everybody to take away. I know for me personally, the biggest takeaway was that a lot of what we teach from in some of our other classes,
yeah,
in terms of verbal de-escalation, communication, understanding body language, how all of that translates to essentially manipulating people, whether you think about a spy manipulating an asset or you trying to close a sale.
sure.
Communication is key on everything. And those fundamentals just don't change.
Yeah. It's funny because I was curious how involved you were. I know you're quoted in the book, so I was curious how involved you were in the writing of the book, because there was so much of it from, our healthcare division that we teach to our students there. I just thought that was really cool. I like that he really did seem to, he talks about reading the room. I've started reading the book. I'm like 4 chapters in. It's a really good book, but he talks about reading the room. And I mean, he took a class with us, which was super cool too. But however, in that little bit of time, he kind of knew the lay of the land. And to your point, I was wondering how much spy crafting was going on with us.
Well, once you get into the habit of reading people, it just
is what you do, yeah.
Right?
So I was like, is he spy crafting us? What's going on?
But the beauty of it is that it is applicable for everybody on all facets of life. Forget about just business or spycraft, just dealing with your kids or your significant other, right? Understand how to diffuse situations, how to encourage people correctly, right? That's essentially what manipulating human behavior is all about.
Sure.
And once you get better at it, once you consciously pay attention to those cues, you talked about mirroring, right?
Yeah.
You talk about understanding those verbal and nonverbal cues. I see what you're doing there, right? But
I was going to start talking. I was going to start saying things.
But the idea is that once you start paying attention to that, right, you can start applying it. I think most people go about their everyday life not ever paying attention to those subtle cues. And if we do a better job at it, we become better at, I don't want to say dominating because that's not the right word, and I don't want to say manipulating either, but being more attuned to a conversation so you can shift it in the direction that you need or want it to go. And I think that's key.
Yeah, what you think?
I like that he also used that and tied the vulnerability and the empathy aspect to it.
Totally.
Because I feel like a lot of the time when people come in, we try to connect with them and hear their problems, because sometimes people come in for self-defense and they need it for reasons that are not good
There's
reasons.
some trauma in their life, right?
Right, so you have to walk the fine line of empathizing and understanding how to talk with the person. So I thought that was a good connection as well.
Yeah.
And that was, you've said manipulation, and we culturally think it's a bad thing. Maybe, I don't know, different podcast. But he really talks about just connecting with people generally, kind of what your point is. It was just, active listening, showing empathy. These aren't, I can see how it's manipulation, but he's talking about being a good person and being genuine with people. When you get into the book, he talks about the real connection that the asset makes with the agent. It's a real thing, and it's when they have to kind of hand them off to another agent or another operator, whatever, I forget how you refer to it. Case officer, thank you. How it's sad. It's almost like you're losing a friend. And that just shows it's not it's manipulation, and I don't disagree, but there's more to it than that. And a lot of what he's teaching, and we talked about the other night, and in the book, it's really just about developing good relationships with other people.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it's the intent behind it, right?
Sure.
Why are you building that relationship for? You're trying to help the person, or you're trying to take advantage of the person? And that really, I guess, directs whether it's manipulation in the negative context that we talk about, or is it, I'm truly trying to help you, I'm trying to find a common ground. I guess that's where the sales point comes in, right? Sure. So spycraft aside for a second, sales is all about solving a problem to another human being, right? Whether it's selling a service or a product, you're trying to solve a problem for them. But I can't solve a problem until I know what that problem is. Mm-hmm. And people are not as forthcoming about what it is.
Oh, sure.
To your point, Alison, if they come for self-defense and they have trauma, they're not often very open about it, right? They'll tiptoe around it. It's up to us to pull it out slowly. And that's where making the connection, those interpersonal relationships, building on a foundation of respect and understanding that really allows us to get to the core of it, give them what they need, and everybody walks away happy. We made a sale, but the customer got what they came for.
Sure.
Ultimately, that's the goal.
Yeah, definitely.
What was your favorite part of it?
I think just the whole community aspect of it in general, with him taking classes, I think that helped
Yeah, it
him
was
connect
cool.
with the group
That
a
was
lot more, and it didn't like feel like a speaker with an audience. It kind of felt like someone just speaking with a group of people, and everyone just seemed engaged and fully into it. And then I spoke with a few people afterwards, and it was just interesting how it affects people in different fields, how you were saying earlier. So someone was talking about social media work and like different website development. So it was just interesting how like we can use the sales and marketing and all these like different sectors and kind of use those tools for it.
You know, one of the guests that came with one of our members asked the question about how does this apply to video?
Nonverbal.
Yeah, and video meetings. Like
Right.
you don't have
Or
all
emails.
or emails or stuff like that. And he's like, it's all there. One of the items he talks about in the book that we lack wildly is note taking.
Yeah.
And I know, like our members here, we know a lot about. Like we go through it with them. They share with us, especially in this type of environment that we're in now. There's a lot of like knowledge about their personal lives, their illnesses, their victories, their failures, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their husbands, their wives. Sometimes they're all the same. But we know that. Like
Right.
that's the stuff we know about our members. But in a more classic sales environment, he talks about how like you go in and you walk away, and capturing that information again, it's not just manipulation. It's I want to do business with people I like.
Right.
And when you remember that my birthday is on March 13th, then
Yeah, he's old.
yeah, I didn't say what year.
I'm telling you, he's old.
On March, if
It's
you
not
know,
for communication.
yeah, exactly. If you know that and you acknowledge it, like it makes me feel special. And I'm like, oh, you must be a good guy because you know my birthday. I mean, it's such a lame thing, but it makes me feel special. I'm more apt to engage with you. And I think that was a really interesting, again, it's not a manipulation thing.
Yeah.
We do business with people we like.
Well, he used a similar example using names, right? If you remember someone's name
Love
and
my
you
name.
use it in
I
a
love my
conversation,
name, right?
people like when people use their name. And I agree 100%. Listen, everything always comes down to trust. So from all the coaches that I engage with, the one theme that across the board comes across is the fact that social media is all about building trust. People buy from people they trust. So how do we build trust? It's not by us just showcasing what we do, what we are, right? It's listening to what they need and what they want.
Right.
And then those two messages have to intersect or coexist in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think that was the underlying, I think, of the whole meeting, the idea that whether, again, you're a spy or whether you're a salesperson, it's all about building trust.
Or your husband, your wife, your father, a daughter, son, whatever.
Right.
I mean, again, people that know me know that I have a complicated relationship with my son's mother. And some of the stuff, like it's my shortcomings. Like I'm listening to stuff he's talking about, I'm thinking how I could use it in my personal life, not in sales, not in.
Well, it's not a shortcoming.
It's a shortcoming because of things he's saying. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's actually a better plan
Yeah.
than the stupid way that I'm trying to beat my head against the wall over and over again. But like that is sound like a spy is the book, but it has so many applications. I just thought it was really good. I thought he did a wonderful job.
And I think ultimately you hit the nail on the head in the sense that all these speaker series, what we're trying to accomplish every month, is add value to people. The fact that you are sitting here and taking mental notes about I can do this better, I can do that better, that's the goal, that's the intent. To have a speaker come in and just talk about stuff that's not relevant to people defeats the purpose. But you already took tangible, tactical applications that you can apply. I bet you half the people that were in the class that day or listened to the speaker walked away with something they could apply automatically or immediately. And that, at the end of the day, is the purpose of this. Everything that we do here is about adding value, right? Whether it's teaching self-defense or the speaker series or the coaching platform, it's all about adding value. And the speaker series, if you came and you took something away, we did our job.
Yeah.
That's ultimately the goal.
Did you take something away, Allison?
Yes.
Just making sure.
I think from a logistics standpoint, I'm going to echo what Allison said about this intimate setting. I think we're really nice.
Yeah.
we always have some kinks we have to work out. We were mentioning talking about better camera angles. So, but for the first time, I thought it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We had good attendance here. This room was packed. We had people online.
We did.
So
Yep.
for those that are watching this and maybe not local and can't come to all these speakers, you can always reach or access it via Zoom. There's also recordings that are uploaded to a platform, so even after the fact, you can go back to it. And some of our speakers are going to be virtual just because the nature of where they are geographically.
For the size of who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that, not physically.
I got you.
They're very large people. They won't fit in the room. No, like that they're a big deal, and
Yeah.
they aren't going to pop in here to do an hour-long conversation.
But I think for a first time, this was a huge success. I
it's
certainly
really
commend everybody involved on making it happen. It was a good time. It was a good job. Well
Yeah.
done.
I agree, and I'm excited to have his book be the next monthly reading.
Yep. So for those listening, so obviously we have a monthly reading. This month it is Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Next month would be Sell Like a Spy by Jeremy Hurewitz.
Both great books.
And if you were here, you could actually buy from and get it autographed and already. It's always better when you have a connection to the author.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was pretty cool.
So, and we talked about with Arnold Schwarzenegger, this will be the last thing, how Arnold Schwarzenegger is the narrator of his book, which when you're listening to the book, you feel like you're listening to BK read the book. But I looked it up. I looked up the audiobook, and it's Jeremy reading the audiobook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that. He said
Oh,
that.
he said, I must have missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It
He
took him
narrated
like
his
2
own.
days to read the whole thing. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that's actually
Oh, I guess when you lock yourself in a studio and do nothing
Yeah.
but read,
8
you
hours,
get it done.
you can knock it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to our future speakers and keep getting this even better. And I invite everybody listening to chime in and send us your thoughts. Let us know what you thought of it if you were here in person, if you listened on Zoom, and always aiming to keep adding value, as we said.
Yep. All right. Cool. Thanks.
See you next month.
Yep.